Welcome back to the greenhouse, everybody. We had a nice little break in temperatures for a week to a week and a half, and now we're heading right back into the nasty, negative, and snowy times. So the little break in weather, we got a lot of stuff done outside, but now we're pretty well stuck inside the greenhouse doing what we can inside here. So today we're going to be checking out and discussing our little rooting bed. So we started a rooting bed about 3 months ago, and we threw a bunch of our York elderberries. We've got lots of perennials down on that side that are actually multiplying also. So I want to take an in-depth look and see if we had success over there in our little DIY rooting bed. I'm sure you saw my son out there running around somewhere. He came in here, started himself some popcorn, and I had to take over because he was too busy. He had to go play in the snow. So I'm not sure where he's at right now, but I have a whole bunch of Jiffy Pop that is ready to go. I'm sure if he can smell it, he'll come running. Popcorn aside, if that stuff sounds interesting, please consider subscribing to the channel. This is pretty much all we do here, and thank you to everyone who has subscribed. You guys are absolutely awesome. You're allowing us to expand our homestead and everything we do on it, and all of the videos we bring to you, just by watching and liking the videos. It's super simple. Kind of crazy how this works, but you guys keep watching, we'll keep making videos, and let's jump right into the video today. So I pulled his Jiffy Pop off here and just set it on a DIY brick so we didn't burn anything without trying to. So before we started our popcorn, we were out here making these fire sticks. Now it's a great fire starter stick. It doesn't actually make fire itself. This is pine rosin. My son and I were taking some pine sticks from out back while we were grabbing some pine needles to start our fire, and we wrapped some cheap little twine around it, and we mix all the pine rosin and stuff. There is some meltable material left in here, but there is a lot of bark, and it was just dirty pine rosin. So these are just fire carrying sticks, and they are completely waterproof, and we just basically cool them off right into snow. They're 100% waterproof. They do waterproof the string and the stick. I can hear a snow plow going. It's getting pretty nasty out. Nothing like driving an 18-wheeler in the snow. So this is just a little project that we try and keep up with and have a dozen of our fire carrying sticks so we can start fire easily. One match will light that whole torch, and all of this twine acts as a sponge, soaks it all up. We showed this in our primitive skills greenhouse video or something, but it's very, very handy to have because the wind really doesn't blow it out, and having that little sponge from the twine doesn't allow it to drip off like when plastic melts. So it's a pretty decent little torch. So that's enough of this side of the greenhouse. Let's head on down here. Son had fed his fish a while ago. They're not very active right now. I'm not sure where the frog is. He kind of scares me. The frog hops out of just random places and jumps back in the pond. It's highly unexpected, but I'm getting used to it. So we've got a bunch of snow we brought in. We've got tons of snow coming down outside. You can still see where there's patches of snow. There's not a whole lot. The warmth of the greenhouse and the double layer slowly transfers the heat to that second layer, and it does come down just with compost heat and geothermal. So we've got this little bed here. I'll try and link the video where we actually put this together. So I haven't pulled this up not once in like 3 months. So I was out here testing these, and it looks like I got a pretty good success rate on all these elderberries here. These are all York elderberries. This is just a test spot. So this heating line was a little closer when we started. We've got some mustard or a turnip or something, 7-top turnips growing. We've got this compost heat basically just on each side of this bed, protecting from outside temps and just keeping this little perennial bed decently warm in the winter here. And you can see all of the elderberry cuttings and the plants from last year are starting to kind of throw shoots off, little buds and stuff. So what we're going to actually do today, as I'm sitting here talking, we're going to pull this whole bed up. I'll set the camera up. We'll pull all of these out. I want to see what kind of roots development we got. And we've just been over here filling with our excess soil. This is a mixture of our greenhouse soil and old potting soil from the farmer's market last year. Very simple little setup. I'm going to set the camera up real quick here. We got this old little hoe head here. It's interesting, hoe head. So the end of a hoe. So we're just taking this and using it as a nice little hand tool. We've got some good soil there. Decent soil. It's the same soil that we used for the rooting bed. So being able to pot these right up in the same soil is going to give us a really good chance for continued success, and we will be able to share these York elderberries with everybody at our local farmers market here this spring. Probably am causing a little bit of damage to some of these plants on the not so sunny days, but everything seems to like the snow. A little bit extra nitrogen and well-deserved moisture. Let's go ahead and see what we're working with here. All right, we got this monster rosemary. So this is super cool and interesting to me because this was just a recycled piece of pond liner, the same pond liner we've got our goldfish and koi pond with. Now, I want to see, oh yeah, I see shoots coming out of the soil there. So, there they are, nice elderberry roots, absolutely free. Now, when we're selling these, we can make $10 to $15 per elderberry. I didn't take a whole lot of cuttings. Even this little tiny one that was barely stuck in the ground, he's got root development, he's got new growth, he's got everything he needs to continue growing and be a successful plant and transplant. Set myself down a DIY brick here, throw a neon. So I'm super interested in this, and propagation has always been an interest of mine, and this is super easy. I see people spending lots of money to do the same thing we just did with basically nothing. Pennies on the dollar for our compost heating. Being able to have a protected area like this to be able to create some extra income for ourselves or propagate a whole new food forest. I mean, not just elderberries. We've got apple trees, pear trees, Asian pears. We've got blackberries, figs. A huge list of things that can be propagated and will have a decent success rate. So out of all of these cuttings, there is only one right here that does not have any growth on the top. Oh, so this one looked completely dead to me. That looks pretty well toast, and without cutting it or taking a knife to it, and you can see we've got everything we need for a successful plant. A couple little roots and a nice shoot. So we had 100% success rate. These have all sprouted. Every single one have rooted and started to grow right in the bed. That's why we created this little shallow space where I can just pull the rug right out, and it was like maybe a foot deep, really good medium, low light. The hot sun can burn cuttings, so doing this in winter, we didn't have to worry about that. We've got our grow lights on and stuff. Humidity and moisture is a very important factor in success on cuttings like this. You really want to have a good, solid platform for all of that with drainage. When this was laid in, the water could pool, but it would wick off to the side, so it wasn't just stagnating. So we had good moisture retention. The soil is still wet. We haven't watered out here in a little while, so good consistency. The medium, the lighting, you don't want to burn them, and the moisture content are some of the most important things. And of course, taking a decent cutting makes all the difference. So taking a good size cutting, a pencil thickness or so. We have some that are smaller, some that are bigger. 100% success rate. I'm actually quite thrilled that we have such a great success with all of this right here. I plan on expanding this theory right here and making like a 5 to 6 foot by 2 to 3 foot bed for next winter, where I can really propagate out a ton of perennial stuff to be sold that next spring. So always innovating and learning for ourselves, just trying to share what we can as we go here. So save yourselves a ton of money and propagate these yourself. If you have a greenhouse and you don't really use it in wintertime, you can still create a nice microclimate to get some cuttings to root. So let's go ahead and check all these out here and pot a few of them up. So we'll start with that little guy. Get him in there. Oh. Wow. So some were super prominent in their development, just roaring back to life, ready for spring. It's been up and down. I mean, the temperatures outside don't affect 100% in here. So these guys don't really know what's going on, just like the greenhouse frog. He's always in and out. Man, look at these successful cuttings. That is just awesome to see. Nice unclumped, rooted cutting. Just roots coming right out of the woodworks. Oh, just look at that one. That is a mass of roots there. Got nice greenery popping off on each node that was above the surface there. Super cool to see that. Perfect example of a rooted cutting. You can see where we had cut it, and we've got all the roots popping off there. So I just filled this back in, packed some soil up on all of the elderberry cuttings that we still have in the ground, potted all these up. I'm gonna throw some snow on them here. Well, I consider that another successful day in the greenhouse. We've got all our elderberries done up. I need to make probably 2-3 more trays to get them all in, and then we can start dealing with all of our perennials. Just tons of stuff packed up in here, so we'll be pulling everything out and gearing towards spring here, even though it's going to be negative out here pretty soon, and it's snowing like crazy. I see you smelled your popcorn and came running. So before this video gets too long, I've got to go eat some popcorn too. I'm kind of hungry after work here. So we've got a bunch of snow coming down. We're going to be doing stuff inside the greenhouse, probably going to be splitting, dividing, propagating, sharing more heating experiments. So there's never a shortage of content. It's just a shortage of time. So with that, I want to thank you for stopping by, checking this video out, and I will see you guys in the next video.